Hi and welcome to SBR Picks. I'm your host Nadia Holtz. In this video we will be covering the St. Louis Blues and their Stanley Cup race chances. The St. Louis Blues had another inconspicuous early playoff loss. With us today is SBR contributor and analyst Dave Golikoff. Thanks for being here, Dave.
Thanks for having me.
What do you think went wrong with the Blues last season?
Well, I think with the Blues, you take a look at their numbers from the regular season to the postseason, it's pretty clear. Actually, the last couple years, you can crunch the numbers. One of the best defensive teams in the regular season, but something happens in the playoffs, it just does not work for them. And this has actually been consistent for, I want to say, within the last 5 years. Under Ken Hitchcock, great defensive team, but all the goaltenders that they take in the playoffs they don't carry the same weight for this team as they did in the regular season. We're talking Halak, his numbers went down in the playoffs. Brian Elliott, and Ryan Miller as well. And I think that's why you see the Blues say, you know what, if we're not going to win with an elite goaltender, if all these guys are going to, get worse for us in the playoffs, then we may as well invest somewhere else and get some scoring, because they were kind of skimping on scoring and spending on goaltending. So they decided to take a different approach this offseason, and we'll see if it works.
Okay, so what off-season changes have they made to turn things around?
Well, they let Miller walk, and they essentially gave that money to Paul Stastny. As mentioned, the Blues, their their goals allowed per game goes up in the playoffs, and their goals scored goes down in the playoffs. So they needed to fix those two. They decided to let Miller walk because they figure, hey, if he's going to give up, 3+ goals per game in the playoffs, Brian Elliott can do that, and we can save a lot of money. At the same time, they took that money and gave it to Paul Stastny. Probably no coincidence to Stastny, because Stastny had 10 points in 10 playoff games. They probably said, hey, this is exactly what we need. So maybe overpaying for him, but they're trying to fill a need. So I think the Blues really went all in for their offense and kind of skimped on their defense, or skipped on the goaltending. And we'll see if that pans out. I really think it will.
Okay, last but not least, what is your projected finish?
I have the Blues as my Stanley Cup champ. I know that's going to surprise a number of people. It's early. I'm looking for value. These aren't huge investments, but I'm trying to find sort of a balance between a team that can do it plus a team where you're actually getting a reasonable payout. You don't get much with the Blackhawks, with the Kings. I think the Blues are capable. Hey, they were up 2-0 on the Blackhawks last season, albeit fluky in the first round, a couple overtime wins. But I think the Blues really decided to get some offense for that team. Stastny will help. And, you take a look at what they did in net. Brian Elliott, Jake Allen, I don't think would be much worse than Ryan Miller was. And I think essentially the Blues made a good trade-off. And if Allen can play well, if Elliott can play well in the playoffs, this team should be able to go far into the postseason.
Okay, Dave Golikoff predicts the Blues to win Stanley Cup. Thanks so much for your feedback. Talk to you soon, Dave.
All right, thanks.
Okay, do you think the Blues will win the Cup? To join into our conversation, use hashtag SBRNatia. For SBR Picks, this is Nadia Holtz.
The SBR network offers free sports picks and game breakdowns, big money free betting contests year-round, a real-time Vegas-style odds monitoring service, and much more. So come see for yourself. To stay updated on SBR news and promotions, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Google+, and do be sure to subscribe to the Sportsbook Review YouTube channel to catch all our daily sports shows.